On Monday, May 3rd, 1886, a rally took place that would change the country and the lives of many workers at the McCormick Reaper plant. It was a large, initially peaceful rally that wanted to protest for an 8-hour workday that was against the idea proposed by Cyrus McCormick, a very well-known factory owner of the time. By 1847, Cyrus McCormick began the mass manufacturing process of his newly invented reaper at a Chicago factory. Though he had liberated some of the workers from back-breaking work by introducing his new machine, not all were content. On May 3rd, many different groups of people called upon a mass meeting at Haymarket Square, a well-known area in Chicago.
A couple thousand people show up depending on what time of the night it was. And they have a few speakers, guys are standing up on the wagon talking, and there's some police in the crowd because the police know about these anarchist guys. They know they're kind of troublemakers and they don't really like them because they talk about revolution and they talk about getting rid of the wealthy people and taking over the factories, and it kind of scares everybody. So the police have been watching these guys.
Anarchists like Albert R. Parsons were the major leaders of the event.
Anarchists do not advocate the use of force. We protest the use of force, and justify it only when used in self-defense. Resist the use of force. Do not, I repeat, do not strike first. But when the state strikes, and strike it will, and strike it has, then, only then, strike back!
Not all wanted the shortage of hours that the anarchists and reaper plant workers encouraged. The police did not want the affair to even occur. It would bring too much attention to the area, and other workers would also want to strike back.
Now the important thing is, keep your eyes on Speece and Parsons. If it comes to guns, go for them and the other leaders.
Am I hearing you right, John?
You hear me fine. I want those bastards dead.
Seven policemen were killed during the time when the bomb was thrown. Most of them were killed by friendly fire. The newspapers were against the workers, believing they were beasts who caused the death of innocent policemen. Little did they know that the workers were peacefully rioting when the bomb was thrown. Nevertheless, after the events of May 4th, 1886, Albert Parsons, August Spies, Samuel Fielden, Oscar Neebe, Adolf Fischer, Louis Ling, George Engel, and Michael Schwab were all charged and found guilty of conspiracy. Fielden and Schwab's sentences were commuted to life in jail. Ling committed suicide, and Parson, Spies, Fisher, and Engel all died on the gallows. The effects of the Haymarket riot altered the country's views.
After this bombing, the media just completely eviscerated the anarchists and said they were evil and wanted to kill everyone, and they were mad bombers. And the rest of the labor movement, the legitimate bigger unions, the Knights of Labor, who's kind of the biggest union at the time, they disassociated themselves. They said, no, we don't want to have anything to do with that.
But at the same time, some of those guys did advocate violence and stuff too, so they were somewhat guilty of that. And you kind of have to look at it in the context of the times. Like the Chicago Tribune also was calling for violence against the anarchists and that we should kill them all and bomb them all. I think it was McCormick, the guy that owned the factory, also owned the Tribune. So the papers were very slanted.
There were many biased views on the Haymarket affair and its consequences. Even in contemporary society, some do not feel empathy towards the police of the time, which is why the police monument commemorating these officers that died had to be relocated. In its place, a statue was erected to symbolize the troubles the workers had to face during the era, to bring about the change in the industrial system. A reason behind the relocation was the fact that the Haymarket affair was not a riot per se.
Calling it a riot, it was not a riot. And if you look at the literature that progressive historians, that the Illinois Labor History Society puts forth, is that we call it the Haymarket affair, the Haymarket event, usually the Haymarket tragedy. It simply was not a riot. We know that people call it a riot who wanted to suppress the real truth of what Haymarket was about. If you say call it a riot, it makes it sound like it was something that the protesters, the workers, were attacking or creating violence, when in fact it was just the opposite.
The Haymarket martyrs have proved to be and continue to be the individuals, revolutionaries, and people have come to respect for changing industrial conditions for the better for all workers of the U.S.